What's going on, everybody? GemMint here, and that's right, today we're going to take a look at all of my Spider-Man Funko Pops. I got into Funko Pop collecting about a year ago, and what really hooked me was the Fantastic Four line and the Mortal Kombat line. I thought it was really intriguing to jump on a line right when it starts so that I could pick them all up in the wild. I won't miss any. I won't have to buy any off scalpers off of eBay and things like that. So I got into it. But after a few months, and as you can see, these are just the Spider-Man Pops. I have X-Men Pops, I have Simpsons, Power Rangers. It just got to be too much, too many, too fast. And I didn't really have the display space for it. As you can see, my real estate is all taken up. So I did what a lot of people struggle to do, and I stopped collecting Funko Pops. But anyway, I ended up taking these out of the garage and out of the storage space, and we're going to show them individually. I'm going to unbox them, put them on the turntable, zoomed in, looking real nice and crisp. But before we do that, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. We're doing a giveaway once we hit our next subscriber milestone of 150,000, and we're giving away this Dejah Thoris premium format by Sideshow. All you got to do is be subscribed, leave a like, and comment on this video. And if you hang around until the end, I'll give you more details on how the giveaway is actually going to go down. And one more thing, man, we got to give a big shout out to the sponsor of this video. These guys make it super easy for us to do this YouTube thing full time, so show them some love. It's Street Level Hero. SLHLA.com has exclusive variant covers with new drops every Tuesday and Thursday. Amazing artwork on these covers, and you can save 10% on any item on the store anytime you shop there by using the code GEMMINT at checkout. They also have a sister site, thatSpidermanBooth.com, who has $30 mystery boxes. You're guaranteed 5 comics of retail value, and there's always a GP, a giveaway prize every round, which is a key issue that will be in one of those boxes. Use that same code GEMMINT to save 10% off of any box you buy. With that being said, let's start digging into the Funkos. Alright, first up we have one of my favorite characters, Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hara, the half Mexican, half Irish arachnid from the future. He first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man 265 on that hologram cover that I owned as a kid, and I've just been a huge fan of the character ever since. Now, it's a pretty simple pop, it doesn't have a lot going on, just has the costume kind of painted on the face, on the chest, and on the arms. It's that 90s Peter David Spider-Man 2099 look. Pretty simple, but I still like it. Then we have the black suit Spider-Man, the symbiote Spider-Man, which first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man 252. We later got the origin in Secret Wars 8, but a classic Spider-Man costume from the 80s. Absolutely love this pop. And you can see it's pretty much the same mold as Spider-Man 2099. He's just all black and has the Venom logo on his chest, the white squares on his fist, and of course those white eyes. Cool little pop, Spider-Man with the black suit. And you can't have the symbiote without Venom. So of course Venom, Eddie Brock, first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man 299 as a cameo, then first full appearance ASM 300. There are going to be a few Venoms in this lot. This one was part of that wave with the black suit Spider-Man and 2099. This one, he has his tongue out, he has a little bit of green slime around his mouth. And he's got a different mold. You can see his arms are more Venom-like. He's a little bit more buff. The eye paint is a little bit different. It's not as clean as Spider-Man's. You gotta have Venom. Then of course you can't have Venom without his offspring, his spawn, Carnage, which first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man 361. There was a cameo in the last panel of ASM 360, but Cletus Cassidy as Carnage, as you can see on the back, it goes with that wave with Venom and kind of teasing what the next character is. But you can see this one has a similar mold, if not the same as Venom, even has the tongue sticking out, but a little bit more out there with the paint applications. He has the black veins going throughout his symbiote with the red underneath, and the tongue sticking out, which is kind of unique for Carnage. You don't see him with his tongue sticking out as much. And then, like I said, foreshadowed on the back of the previous pop, but we have Anti-Venom, Eddie Brock, recovering from cancer. The symbiote that's living dormant within him basically gives him this alternate version of the Venom symbiote. I can't remember the first appearance of this one off the top of my head. I think it's ASM in the 500s or so. But always like to see Eddie Brock come back as Venom because he wasn't Venom for a few years. This pop looks the same as the previous two, just a different paint scheme. I like how big the black eyes are on his head, and he has the yellow pupils there. Different design on the chest and on the back that wraps around his arms. And he's not really white. It's kind of like a grayish tone to it. And he has his tongue sticking out as well. Next up, we have the Spider-Gwen pop. Gwen Stacy in an alternate universe in the pages of Edge of the Spider-Verse 2. She basically becomes Spider-Man and Peter Parker dies, and she has a very unique costume design with the hood. And let's go ahead and take a look at the actual pop now. I like how they did the pink glow around the eyes. You got the pink undertones of the hood with the teal webbing. She has those teal or turquoise sandals, which I remember being kind of controversial when she first came out. The character became hugely popular in the Edge of the Spider-Verse movie, and I guess she's supposed to be in the sequel as well. All right, and we can't have a Spider-Man pop video without Spider-Man himself. This is a Marvel Collector Core exclusive, and I think it's really cool because he's floating in the air, showcasing his agility and his web slinging and all that. So it has this little clear plastic stand that plugs into his back. I really like how this looks. This is the first of 3 that are going to be like this in the collection. Classic red and blue suit. You have the indentations for the webbing, the classic Spider-Man eyes, and the web shooting pose. I forgot I had this one. I was so happy when I was digging through these pops and I found Venompool, the Venom Deadpool hybrid, which first appeared in a series of What If issues. It was a backup story in 4 issues. Then it got a one-shot with a Scotty Young cover for What If Venom Possessed Deadpool. Then he became popular in the Marvel Contest of Champions mobile game, and I ended up getting the huge 1/3 scale statue of this guy that I did an unboxing for recently. The pop looks great. He's got like the body of Deadpool with the face of Venom, but that Venompool paint scheme, awesome pop. It was a nice surprise to see this one in the box. All right, guys, we had the spawn of Venom. Now we have the spawn of Carnage. Venom's grandson, we have Toxin here, who is actually a police officer. He's a good guy that got a hold of the symbiote and became Toxin. This is one of the things that I liked about Pops. You get obscure characters that you wouldn't normally get in statue format, or let alone even figures. I'm not sure if they've done a Toxin or not. Maybe they have. But this guy has the same type of mold, except he has symbiote tendrils coming out of his shoulders, and they kind of made an interesting design with it coming down around his waist and his arms. I like the green tongue sticking out of his mouth. Very cool little pop. All right, I told you there's going to be some Venoms, right? So here is another Venom. This time it's a transformation face. You can see half of Eddie Brock's human face on one side and the Venom symbiote's face on the other. On the back, you can see this is part of the Venomized line, which I believe is going to be coming up next. This pop is cool, man. It's got a huge head. That body mold looks a little bit different with the hand positions and such. I like how you still have the tongue sticking out, transforming into the Venom mouth, and the symbiote kind of going wild off of his head. Very cool. And the first of the Venomized pops, this is Venomized Captain America. Now, I want to say this was the first wave of Venomized pops. I could be wrong with that. They definitely made a ton more. Everything was Venomized at one point in the comics. They even went and did Carnage eyes. So Captain America looks cool though, man. He got the blue symbiote. He's got the A and the wings on his head. You can see the black symbiote tendrils over the shield. He's got the Captain America costume, but he has the Venom symbol on his front and back. So a very cool one with that Venom tongue sticking out as well. Then we have Venomized Iron Man. This piece is crazy. It kept blurring out when I tried to get close-ups of the actual pop, but Tony Stark as Iron Man with the Venom symbiote. And this guy's just so cool. Clear plastic showing the blast from his repulsor gloves and boots. He's got the spiky helmet and the Venomized look to it. Then we have Venomized Hulk. This is one of my favorite out of the Venomized line. It's just such a big, impressive piece, and they went out of their way to do something very unique with this guy. As you can see, he's got that green Hulk skin that really pops, and he's got the Venom mouth everywhere on his body, going over his legs, his arms. You can see the tendrils wrapping around his feet, and he's just got that crazy face as it's being taken over by the symbiote. This one's got a lot of presence to it, and I think it really looks good. Then we have another Venom one. This was from a Collector Core box as well, so you can only get this through that box on Amazon. And this is another one that's floating in air and has some other cool details for him as well. So you can see his body has like these neon blue veins, kind of like an homage, I guess, to the Venom movie. Similar to that Spider-Man, the plastic piece going into his back, so he's leaping in mid-air, tongue sticking out with the green slime. One of my favorites out of all of these. Then we have Agent Venom. So I mentioned before with Anti-Venom how Eddie Brock hadn't been Venom for a while. That's because Flash Thompson became Venom, working for the government with a sedated Venom symbiote that he could only wear for like an hour or so until it would be no longer sedated and it would Venom out or Hulk out and turn into the Venom that we all know and love. This is not the Venomed out version. This is more of his soldier Venom, Agent Venom type of look, more tactical. It's got like a dull matte kind of finish on the head, but the suit's a little bit shiny with his comic book costume design. Then we have Venomized Thanos. So this one is a very big piece. It reminds me of the Hulk Venomized one. It doesn't really feel like Thanos as much as the Venomized Hulk felt like Hulk, but I still think it's a cool piece. Like, he's huge. He's got the clear blue energy in his right hand. He's got the Thanos chin so that you know it's him, but the rest of the costume is just so much more Venom than Thanos, right? He's got like the Thanos kind of skirt or kilt or what have you. A different version of the Venom logo that turns into his shoulder pads, which is an iconic Thanos piece of his costume. So it's still a cool piece, not as cool as Hulk. Then we got Venomized Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy. This one, not really one of my favorites. I could do without this one or the other Guardians of the Galaxy one that's coming up. Although it does have a very interesting mold and design to it. It kind of reminds me of like a plant. Groot is a tree, so that makes sense. But it reminds me of like some kind of X-Men Krakoan thing, the way that teal piece of, I don't know, leaves? The leaves are on his chest? I don't know. I don't know why they included that. That actually looks kind of weird. But a very unique head sculpt for a Funko. Then we have Venomized Storm. A lot of people liked this piece when she came out. I remember she's floating in the air as well. She's got the electricity, huge Venom grin, and of course she has the classic Storm mohawk. Now this one was always a little forward heavy and would topple down when I used to display her, but you can't deny it's not a cool looking piece. The clear blue for the electricity looks great. She's very dynamic. She's got more of a petite body, but that huge Funko head, like I said, with a huge grin and that traditional 80s Storm mohawk. Then we have Venomized X-23. Now, I think at the time, she may have been all new, all different Wolverine. So X-23 was super hot at the time. So you know they had to give her the Venomized treatment. This one is a very short piece. I actually had to use a stand from one of the other characters. So she's crouched down. She's got the Venom eyes on the Wolverine mask, which is cool. And then her hair is like symbiote tendrils in the back. So it's very cool to see her crouched down like this. It's a unique pose for a Funko. And then we have Venomized Rocket. So I mentioned before, like, I wasn't really feeling Rocket and Groot as much. I think this was more of around the time of the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 movie, and that's why they did them maybe. Guardians were a little bit more hot at the time. It's a pretty cool pop, though. It's a little Venomized raccoon. What more could you say? He looks very similar to Rocket, though, right? I mean, he's got, like, the same type of beak or snout, I should say. Kind of got some purple paint tones to his costume, which is cool. Got the little raccoon tail. So, Venomized Rocket, y'all. Then we have Corrupted Venom. So this was right at the beginning of like the Null saga. So Venom corrupted by Null, and this piece is really cool, man. This was an exclusive as well. It was some kind of convention exclusive. The texture on the black part of his skin is so cool. It's like an avocado. Then you have that Null symbol on the front of his face, wrapping around his head, raised up off of the mold of the pop, and it goes throughout his whole body. The face looks awesome with his mouth and the tongue sticking out as well. And you gotta love that red Venom logo on his chest. I forget what they called it in the comics. It had a term for it. Then a little bit more of a classic. This was a Walgreens exclusive, and I definitely went down and hunted it in person to get Sandman, who first appeared way back in Spider-Man 4 in the Silver Age. I had to pick this up as a classic Spider-Man villain, and it's a really unique pop as well, the way that the sand becomes the base. He's got the spiked ball on his right fist and the big sand left fist. He's got his traditional waves and that classic Sandman Blues Clues striped t-shirt. This was cool, and I liked, you know, trying to hunt one down and find it in the wild. That was kind of part of the fun for me when I was collecting these. Then you have Electro, same kind of thing. I think I might have had to order this online though. It was an exclusive as well, but I can't remember what that sticker was. Anyway, Electro, so first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man 9, also in the Silver Age, also one of Spider-Man's first villains. Oh, and there's the cover on the back. Those Marvel 80-year pops were also ones that got me hooked when I first started collecting these. The costume design is funny, but it always worked well in comics and in this pop. I like the big Electro mask on the front. I hear that Jamie Foxx is supposed to reprise his role and wear a costume more close to this one in Spider-Man 3, so we'll see if that pans out. The green and yellow costume, iconic. And you know we had to have the Kingpin of Crime, Wilson Fisk. This was another exclusive from the same place from Electro, and I had to get this as the gem pin of the Gempire. He first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man 50, as you can see on the back. I was collecting all of these Marvel 80 years. Maybe I should do a video on all those. Great looking pop. This is the first time I unboxed him. He's got the cane, he's got the ring, the classic white blazer with the pink trousers, the angry Kingpin face with that big bald head. You gotta love it. Then the last one, we have Spider-Carnage, one of my favorite. The Ben Reilly Spider-Man mixing with the Carnage symbiote. I love this in the comics. They adapted it into the Spider-Man animated series, and this was the third one that came with the clear stand to have him floating in midair. So Spider-Carnage coming at you. I love the blue costume being taken over by the red symbiote tendrils, the Ben Reilly Spider-Man logo but black, the mixture of the Spider-Man and Carnage symbiote for the face. This is one of my favorite pops too, man. I actually put it on display after doing this video. But I do have two other pops that I already had out of the box. I didn't want to box them just to unbox them, and they're little dioramas. So first we have the Carnage diorama from Absolute Carnage. I believe this is a cover homage to issue 1. He's on top of the tombstones, and it's a darker, grittier version of Carnage, a deeper, darker red, got the tendrils flailing about. Awesome little piece that I've had on display since I've picked this one up. Then the last one is the cover from Amazing Spider-Man 316, which is the first cover appearance of Venom. You have the Venom vs. Spider-Man diorama. So cool to see this in a 3D space. They made a statue of this back in the day, a smaller scale, older one, but so cool to have these two pops in one. And this is what we're gonna end off the video with, guys. Alright guys, so those are all of my Spider-Man Funko Pops. You have some of my favorites, you have a ton of those Venomized ones. Let me know which one your favorite was in the comments down below, and that's what's going to put you into the drawing for the giveaway. Like I said, once we hit the next subscriber milestone of 150K, I'm going to pick a random video where I promoted the giveaway and use a random YouTube comment generator to draw a worldwide winner. So you're going to want to comment on as many videos as possible. As always, I appreciate you watching, but don't go anywhere. I'm going to do all of my X-Men Funko Pops next. Stay minty fresh. Peace.